Before long, I was on a plane to Milan on my very first business trip. I met with the owner of Buitoni's ad agency, an elegant elf-like Dutchman named Dino Betty Vandernoot. This would be a good place to add a Dr. Evil, that's how we do it in Belgium comment. Dino had very good manners, and he whizzed his Aston Martin around Milan at very high speeds. At a little hole-in-the-wall shop called Prada, I bought 2 pairs of durable spectator pumps capped with croc on the toes. Right next door at Gucci, I bought a couple of crocodile belts in brown and black, which were discounted 50%. Besides Buitoni, Dino's other big client was Campari, so Fred wangled some U.S. business from that and put me in charge of monitoring their U.S. advertising since he was getting very busy with the Saatchis. Of course, Ted Bates and many others became Saatchi & Saatchi, and Fred moved his consulting business to the Upper East Side, closer to the Union Club, and I got a corner office with windows on 2 sides and a balcony. Fred had me policing Campari's U.S. media, and I found myself at boozy lunches all the time. Ad reps from big magazine companies like Condé Nast and Hearst took me to places like 21 and La Côte Basque, trying to impress me with restaurants I'd already eaten in. One day I asked Fred why he gave me so much free rein. He spun around in his big swivel executive chair laughing and said, "Because, Jane, you don't know it can't be done." I also asked Fred for raises regularly. Absurd raises, according to the recommendations I remembered from the article I read on the airplane. And Fred always said yes, which bothered me because the advertorial also said that if the other party in a negotiation agrees very easily, you could have gotten more. I was 20. So here I was, making money, doing work that held my interest, even though I felt impartial to it. I never thought about it as my career or something I really wanted for my life. It just kind of happened, and I went along for the ride. I'd always imagined myself as a writer or a rider. All I accomplished was getting invited to parties like for Spy, a new spoofy gossip magazine whose editor now runs Vanity Fair. Spy had been courting Campari, and there was the surf club, Zulu Lounge, and doubles in the basement of the Sherry Netherland. East Coast childhood friends like Kristen, upside-down lifeguard boat fort Kristen, were back in my life. Most of my California friends were graduating and finding their way to New York, working at grueling first-year jobs at the biggest and best law firms and banks on Wall Street, but still finding time for fun. And I was making new friends, like the bunch of kids who went to Georgetown Law together that I met drinking Rolling Rocks at Swells on York Avenue at 2 a.m. on a Friday morning. The leader of that pack was Vincent. He worked at a top-tier law firm on Park Avenue and earned enough money to buy an S-Class Mercedes and a 1-bedroom in an East 60s doorman co-op when he was 26 years old. If Vincent stood on his office desk and leaned way to the right and raised his arm as high as he could wave through the window glass across the rooftops to me sitting in Aunt Ellen's living room as we talked on the phone. Vincent came up with the plan to rent, as a gang, our Hamptons beach house and a ski house at Stratton, Vermont. It was non-stop. Besides the parties at museums and nightclubs, there were openings on Broadway, noisy dinners, and long Sunday brunches. When we couldn't get cabs because of weather or because we were trapped too far downtown, we called black cars to deliver us and charged them to Kidder, Peabody, Weil Gotshal, or Credit Suisse. We all looked like we belonged in summer or winter issues of J. Crew catalogs bedecked in badge brands. I was wearing Ray-Bans because I was from Southern California, Hermes scarves because Aunt Ellen left drawers full of them, and Prada shoes from Milan, which you already know about, long before Anna Wintour ever got to Vogue. But passing the carriage horses on Central Park South, I still turned around in the back seats of taxis to watch them as long as I could, but I had nothing to say to them. One day, during my 3rd spring back in New York City, Kristen called and asked if I'd pose in a group shot photo in Town & Country, where she now worked as an editorial assistant. "What's it for?" I asked her over the phone. "The September issue," said Chris. "No, I mean, what's the subject?" "Oh, I don't know. We just need a bunch of New York girls. I'm supposed to get like 9 or 10, and I only have 2 besides you so far. Please." "Okay, I'll do it," I agreed.